A man was yelling obscenities near a cafe when he allegedly turned on an electric chainsaw.
That suspicion was confirmed when the neighbor admitted he had the cat and delivered a letter demanding cash in exchange for bringing it back.
This is small potatoes, but it's potatoes that must be dealt with.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. They said it couldn't be done. They said, Jordan, Aaron, you'll never do 223 episodes of Keep Canada Weird. There's not that many Canadian weird news stories. Well, guess what, haters? We're here for it. And how you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you addressed the haters right off the top. I was going to spend some time on it, but I think you covered it well. And yeah, I'm doing really well. It's kind of a rainy evening here in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, so I'm cuddled in with my Ken Tiggs and getting ready to record. I got a special drink at my side, ready to go, ready to keep it weird. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got a big one, so I don't want to waste a lot of time, but I do want to give a special shout out to the people in the 223. I'm talking about you, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Lebanon, York, Gettysburg, the surrounding communities. Your area code is 223, and this episode goes out to you. But first, the special drinks. I have a real special one. It sounds like you do too. Do you want to unveil yours or should I do mine?
Well, I wouldn't put mine at the 10 out of 10 special rating, but I've had it on only because I've had it on the show before. But okay. I do have a sugar-free Fresca.
I think last time it was in a plastic thing. This one, I can see you're holding a can.
It's in the smaller can, so it makes my hand look giant.
Yeah, you look pretty tough. Crack that bad boy open, Handsome Aaron Airport.
Okay, you want to hear it? Do you want to watch?
I'm going to close my eyes. I don't want to get distracted.
Okay, this is just an audio experience then. All right.
Damn it. That was great. Mike's really captured that. While you take a sip and get refreshed, I want to tell you what I got here. I have a buddy named Kevin. Kevin was recently in Thailand, and he smuggled this thing back in his suitcase. I don't know if this is legal or not, so I don't want to say much about it. It is a Coca-Cola. I know that because that part's in English. Oddly enough, the only other English thing on this can says 0 sugar. Let's see what this is. Oh, I think I know what this is. I think this is a Thai Coca-Cola vanilla flavor.
Vanilla. Well, the coloring on the can certainly implies vanilla.
Yeah, it tastes like what we in North America would know as like a vanilla flavored Coca-Cola. Very good. Thank you for making tonight's episode extra special, Kevin, and smuggling this bad boy back home in your suitcase. That's a big risk, putting a pop in your suitcase.
Is it, though? I mean, it's a fairly tame item to smuggle.
Well, I mean more so a risk in terms of the carbonation. If it busts and you get to Canada and all your stuff is soaked with vanilla Coke.
Yeah, I guess so. But cans are pretty sturdy, I'd like to think, unless they really, see some action. But like if they're underneath a tire or something and then the car drives over it, that'll pop it.
That would definitely do it. We're talking an international flight, though. Stuff can go wrong, and stuff can go wrong opening cans of pops and special drinks. As we heard, I think it was in episode 219, we allowed some listeners to enjoy a special drink with us. It was, do you remember Maya and Louie, the two children who tried to have a special drink? All hell broke loose. Their pop spilled. They didn't say what pop it was. They didn't really review it. You remember that mess?
I remember it very clearly, and I had high praise for their efforts and what they were bringing to the special drink category. So I'm looking forward to see what they have in store for us now.
Yeah. Maya and Louie are back for round 2. This special drink segment is going to be about redemption. Here it comes.
Go. My name is Maya, and this is Louie. I'm 7, and Louie is 5. We also need to tell you he has a broken collarbone. He was just running through the sprinklers. But we're in for a special drink because we love them. It's our second time calling it. Louie, what flavor is it? It's black cherry. It's a bubbly pop and a real pop flavor. So listen to me crack it. Oh, it fizzed a little bit. Let's try it. So that was really good. It's really good. So yummy.
I think they nailed it this time.
Yeah, no, they really listened to our notes that we had on the last one. They're very directable. That's good. And it was a bubbly, what flavor?
Black cherry bubbly.
Black cherry bubbly, yeah.
That's a big point of unveiling the special drink, is to say what it is, and that was something they missed last time. I got no notes from that one. They nailed it. Actually, I do have one note.
I have a note too, yeah.
My note is more Louis.
More Louis, and my note is also not necessarily more Louis, but for Louis. And watch out for your collarbone. I don't know how you broke it running through a sprinkler, but a special drink segment is best with a fully formed collarbone. So maybe next time when you call back, your collarbone is healed. That'll be the perfect special drink segment, I think.
Yeah. So maybe we'll hear from him in a couple months when that thing heals up. Actually, Louis is a kid. That'll heal quick. What am I saying?
It will, yeah. Louis will be calling us tomorrow.
You don't heal as quick as you're aging, Aaron. You and I both know that, as we're not spring chickens anymore, but we still got a lot of Keep Canada Weird in us. But there will come a time when we got to hang up the headphones and microphones. Every legend does. And there's a legend in Regina, Saskatchewan, who's doing that right now. And I want to open the show with it. After 43 years of making it happen at a McDonald's in Regina, Brenda Smith is hanging up the uniform, but not without one last hurrah. Customers, coworkers, family, and friends pack the restaurant to give this McLegend the send-off she deserves. And the best part is, Handsome Aaron Airport, we're invited. Let's go see a legend in Regina's McDonald's scene hang up the golden arches.
Congratulations. Happy retirement. Customers lined up at McDonald's, not for food, but for a chance to congratulate Brenda Smith on her retirement. She's been working at McDonald's in Regina for 43 years.
I just love everything.
Over the years, she's racked up awards for her service.
10, you get the ring. 15, I got the watch. 20, I got the pendant. 25, I got the watch, the ring.
The 63-year-old is one of the longest working employees and the most beloved.
My grandkids even know Brenda. She always greeted us with a big smile and always had a story to tell us.
The McDonald's on East Victoria Avenue held a come-and-go retirement party for Smith, and a steady stream of customers, former coworkers, and friends stopped by to wish her well.
She's always telling a joke or joking with somebody.
Are you pretty excited?
Juliet Kurluk helped Smith get the job in 1983 through Saskabilities, and Smith turned a 2-week work placement into a 43-year career.
I would just like to congratulate her on all of her hard work, and she's been a very good worker.
I love working with the staff, and I love the kids.
Customers say McDonald's won't be the same without Smith's smiling face, but hope she stops by for a visit in her retirement.
Of all the news stories we cover, one of my favorite is like the birthday and the retirement party. We've gone to a few of these over the years, but this one's great. Regina, McDonald's.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, the one that comes to mind that it reminds me of the most is the Canadian Tire story.
Yeah.
There was a woman that, 50 years or something she did at Canadian Tire?
It's a good run. And this is 43 years is a good run at McDonald's. I worked there for, a year and a half, 2 years back in the day when I was a teenager. And that's hard work. To do that for 43 years, I'm thinking Brenda has a story to tell. She's seen some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a curse. That's probably the biggest curse either of us have said on this show in its history.
I think it's justified for someone who's worked 43 years at a McDonald's in Regina, Saskatchewan. Could you imagine the stuff she's been through?
Yeah, I'd like to think that she had only amazing, pleasant times there. Certainly the people who dropped by for her retirement party seem to imply that it was all rainbows and sunshine and lollipops and nothing horrible ever happened. So,
no.
I mean, I'm trying to find a way to crap on this story, but I'm struggling.
I don't think we can crap on it. I think this is like a tip of the Keep Canada Weird hat. These are the kind of people I love. She is an employee of McDonald's, but she's also a celebrity at Regina. She's a staple. Like it or not, the lifer at McDonald's is a big part of the community for a lot of people. You get up and go for coffee in the morning, Brenda's there to serve you. You had birthday parties there in the early 90s, Brenda brought you that cake.
Yeah.
When you were a teenager and you were trying to steal pop, it was Brenda who chased you out of there.
Yeah, well, I've never met Brenda. Let's state that for the record, because you're implying that I have a very close personal relationship with her when I don't. But I think it's great. I think it's great that she lasted there so long. It's great that she's beloved by the community and she's getting that support. And I got to be honest, I like McDonald's.
Yeah, I have no problem with McDonald's. I just think it's surprising that someone could work that long there. But there's even a better part to this story that's even more heartwarming. This work that she's done, these 43 years at McDonald's, this was never supposed to happen. This began with a temporary placement. She was only supposed to be there for a week or two in 1983, and it was a placement through something called Sask Abilities, which helps people with disabilities find work. So she was put there for like a 1 or 2 week work placement. It turned into a career. This, I think, is a huge feather on the cap of Sask Abilities, because that's a program like that at work.
Yeah, certainly gets a tip of the hat. And yeah, back to liking McDonald's, though, I would like to ask you, because we do have a very negative outlook of some fast food places, in particular Tim Hortons. But McDonald's...
Don't even say it.
You're right. I shouldn't have. Bleep that out in editing. But I think McDonald's, I'm in love with the breakfast. The Egg McMuffin is my favorite fast food breakfast sandwich. And
it is.
On weekends, I love cruising through that drive-thru and getting 1 or 2 of them.
They're fast in the drive-thru. The food is good. They have a little bit of everything. What I often say, like, McDonald's isn't my favorite fast food joint, but if I had to choose one fast food joint to be the only fast food joint in all of planet Earth, I'd probably pick McDonald's, just because they have something for everyone. Everything is pretty good. I love their chicken nuggets. Their coffee is damn good. It's no Robin's Donuts, but it's damn good coffee. I got nothing bad to say about McDonald's, and they were my first real job. I worked there a couple of years, as I said.
Yeah, you do have quite an emotional connection to that company. But I will say this, though. I've been a big supporter of McDonald's coffee since they started trying to compete with the big boys. But I have noticed, I will say this, and I haven't said this aloud.
Okay, everybody sit down and listen.
So this is breaking news, but I've noticed the McDonald's coffee has been slipping lately.
Whoa.
I don't know what the conspiracy is here. There's some investigating to do. Perhaps some of the listeners might be able to shed some light on this. Maybe they've noticed it as well.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes on it. I haven't really noticed, but my next sip, I will definitely take with a whole different mindset than the sip before. Thanks for getting us on the trail of another great story, Handsome Aaron Airport. But we got a whole bunch more stories to get into. Let's take our first break, and when we get back, we're going to get into a segment of stories I hoped we'd never have to cover. I'm talking about some seniors behaving badly. After this break, we're going to hear about 2 really nasty seniors. Up until this point on Keep Canada Weird, I think we've only had positive things to say about the senior citizens of Canada and the world. That's why this segment is going to pain us so much to get into, but let's just do it. Let's pull the Band-Aid off. Handsome Aaron Airport, a man is facing charges after a violent outburst near a busy Vancouver Starbucks. It involved obscenities, a chainsaw, and one badly behaving senior citizen. Here's the story of the chainsaw-wielding senior in Vancouver.
Vancouver police say one man has been charged after he allegedly wielded a chainsaw through the city's West End. Last night around 7 near Davie and Denman, a man was yelling obscenities near a cafe when he allegedly turned on an electric chainsaw. People in the area ran to safety while VPD officers arrested him at Beach Avenue and Burnaby Street. 67-year-old David Meadows has been charged with 1 count of possessing a weapon for a dangerous purpose.
So sadly, that story's very light on details. I went through police press releases and any articles about this story, and I couldn't find much more than This is a senior outside of Starbucks, downtown Vancouver. He yells obscenities and pulls out, of all things, an electric chainsaw, chasing people before he gets arrested. Do you have any idea what this was about?
Well, I'm getting worried, very concerned, actually, especially by the time we finish this episode tonight. We had the story the other week about the senior who robbed a bank.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, and then now we have a story about a senior in front of a Starbucks yelling obscenities and wielding a chainsaw.
Now, make it clear, though, that it's an electric chainsaw, because I feel that's way less terrifying.
It doesn't matter if it's electric or gas. Chainsaw is a chainsaw. It's the intent to wield a chainsaw is the same whether it's gas or electric, I think. So the motive of, I'm going to dice you to bits is pretty much... Now, I mean, maybe an electric chainsaw might have a harder time cutting through human flesh, maybe.
I think it's more just the optics of it. Like, if you've ever watched a horror movie that involves a chainsaw, there's no way it's an electric chainsaw. You got to pull the cord and, and there's all the smoke. It's this loud thing. An electric chainsaw is not an intimidating weapon. Yeah, it could mess you up. It's not the same.
Think about how fast you can wield this chainsaw. So when you don't have to pull the cord, you're not blinded by the smoke coming from the engine.
It's lighter. It's quicker to start.
It's lighter. It's like, bzzz, and then you're right in there. And so this is for the more agile chainsaw wielding maniacs out there.
Well, actually, an electric chainsaw, like we just said, is a whole lot easier to operate and lighter. We're talking here about a senior citizen who's carrying a chainsaw around downtown. It probably doesn't make sense for them to have a large gas-powered chainsaw. That requires more servicing.
That's right, yeah. So I think, having discussed this with you a little bit and thought about it, the electric, battery-operated chainsaw is the right way to go for this particular senior.
What about the obscenities that were shouted? I couldn't find any description of what was said, how bad this was. Do you have any interest, or do you think it's appropriate for us to know what actual obscenities were shouted here?
It would be good to have maybe a printout of the dialogue, yeah. I would like to know what was said, what was yelled. It would give us a bit more, maybe clarification on motive. Maybe it was complete gibberish. Maybe it was the end of the world is coming. Maybe it was, I have an electric chainsaw because I care about the environment, but I still want to kill you. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Could be. Well, let's move on to the next one then, because this nut with a chainsaw outside of Starbucks wasn't the only senior behaving badly last week. The next one, I dare say, is even worse than a senior citizen with a chainsaw downtown. The search for a missing cat in Winnipeg led to one of the most bizarre ends you could imagine. A 72-year-old facing extortion charges. Here's the story of cat extortion and the story of the worst possible neighbor you could ever have.
A man is facing extortion charges after allegedly stealing his neighbor's cat and then demanding money for its return. Police say a woman reported her cat missing last Tuesday from her home on Manitoba Avenue. She told officers she suspected the 72-year-old man living next door was behind it. That suspicion was confirmed when the neighbor admitted he had the cat and delivered a letter demanding cash in exchange for bringing it back. On Thursday, police found the cat inside unharmed at the neighboring home and returned it to its owner. The man has been charged with extortion and theft under $5,000.
What in God's name was going on there?
You and I have broken ground on several alarming trends that have been happening in the world, specifically in Canada. We have the animal uprising, I believe, was the first trend that we broke.
Yes.
And the puberty problem, that is the issue in regards to teenagers, contributing to the downfall of society. And then possibly some smaller ones. We deviated in some different side quests. But I think, and one thing that we talked about, whenever we referred to seniors, it was always in a very pleasing and complimentary way. It was talking about seniors eating ice cream, going to seniors' birthday parties, talking about different activities that seniors get up to. And it's always very lighthearted, playful, adorable type stories that are related to seniors. It was the teenagers that were always doing the bad things. They were the criminals. They were the ones trying to get away with something or steal something. But lately, we're looking at 3 stories, and we'll just say back to back because the first story only happened like a week or 2 ago. So you have a senior robbing a bank. Then we have a senior wielding an electric chainsaw in front of a Starbucks, yelling God knows what. And now we've got a senior extorting another senior with their cat. And
well, I don't know if the victim of the extortion was a senior. They didn't.
But I feel like they are because it just feels that way.
I'm picturing a 30-something-year-old.
Really? Oh.
And the cat goes missing, and for whatever reason, they suspect the neighbor right away.
See, the reason that I think it's a fellow, and this is just, again, this is speculation. We have no information to indicate.
It's not speculation. We're journalists. It's your instinct.
Okay, it's my instinct. And actually, you know what? I'm going to call it fact. This is a fact. It's another senior. And because if we can just make stuff up like you just said, then yeah, I'm going to make that up.
There's no rules here.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm going to do a bunch of stuff tonight then. No, but the reason that I was feeling that it was a senior, a fellow senior, is because it seems like this neighbor knows them. So I feel like they run in similar senior circles. And they're like, I know exactly who did this. It's so-and-so down the street because when we play cards, he talks about stealing cats all the time.
For ransom? Because this was a ransom operation. It seems like the cat was stolen, and the man who admitted to it confessed. He also confessed to delivering a note demanding a ransom. A part of me wonders if it was just like a lot of times when a cat's missing, there's a reward, maybe a small reward, $200 for the return. Someone who finds this cat. I wonder if there wasn't a reward. The man finds the cat and feels he's earned this reward. And it's just a big misunderstanding. Maybe a socially inept way of asking for a reward. There's a thin line between asking for a reward and extortion.
Not really, but I think that line is pretty thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it's clear and it's obvious. But I kind of see what you're getting at, but I don't think you're right on this one. I think it was straight up extortion because I think what you're trying to do here is you don't want to come to terms with the fact that we have a decline, a moral decline in our seniors. So we have to come up with a name for this. I think after such a collection of stories in such a short period of time, we have no other choice but to call this what it is. We have to give it a name. It's a phenomenon. It's whatever it is. It's the seniors something. So we can think about it. Maybe the listeners want to throw a few ideas at us.
I'm sure we'll have some ideas. I don't think we should go with uprising.
No.
And I think whatever the word is, it should some way tie into growing old, being elderly, being senior. Like I'd like it to be. I want to give it some thought. I don't want to spitball even on it. I want to think about it before I say anything.
No.
But if any listeners out there have any ideas on what we should call this, let us know. Because you're right. This will probably become a thing because it seems whenever we start talking about something, more of it comes up. We're going to be manifesting whatever this is, like it or not.
It's a moral decline in the senior population. So, and then think along the same lines as animal uprising, puberty problem. 2 words.
That's good. And I think looking at these 2 stories, we can actually, these 3 stories, if we want to talk about the bank robber, he took the easy way out. He was a senior bank robber. He gets a cab to leave the bank after he robs it. So he took the easy way out. We have the chainsaw incident downtown Vancouver. He's using an electric chainsaw, which is lighter and easier to carry and cheaper and everything else. So I think that's kind of like softening that crime. Now in this story, like if you're going to do extortion that involves like basically a kidnapping, extortion for a house cat is a pretty like low risk, like a low physical risk crime for the senior to get into. There's very few people who don't have the physicality to perform extortion involving a cat.
Right, right. But these could be gateway crimes.
Yeah.
You know, seniors that are starting off, testing the waters with crime. And then, okay, I got away with cat extortion. I got away with yielding an electric chainsaw. I didn't get away with robbing a bank, but I could probably try again.
Give it another shot. But I think we just, when we look for these stories or when these stories pop up, I think we're going to see that as a trend, is the crimes or the morally corrupt things that are happening are probably going to be uniquely suited for our senior population. And I'm excited to see where this goes. But all that said, the seniors aren't the only ones who were misbehaving over the last week in North America. We have a listener named Scott who sent us a voicemail telling us about something that happened south of the border down in the United States. And it just ties into a lot of the things we talk about. It involves electric cars. It involves teenagers. Although it doesn't happen in Canada, I want to tell you about it. Here's what Scott had to say.
Hey, Jordan and Aaron. This is Scott, your foreign correspondent from the 11th province, Minnesota. I've got a story here I think you guys will really love. It involves the puberty problem and autonomous driving vehicles. This took place in San Mateo, California last week. Apparently, 2 drunken teens hired a Waymo driverless taxi for a little joyride. They brought a pellet gun with them and were apparently pelting pedestrians with jelly balls. Anyways, the Waymo taxi pulled over and called the local cops, who then arrested the teens. I thought you should fully investigate this story. Anyways, love the podcast. Keep Canada weird. Scott out.
You want to get to the bottom of this one?
Let's do it. Let's dig in.
I found some local news coverage of this event, and it is about as ridiculous as Scott explained. Listen to what the teens in California were up to.
San Mateo police had a message for parents on social media, posting, quote, "Parents, do you know where your teens are? Waymo does." Police say it started Monday afternoon when Waymo employees monitoring one of their driverless cars believed 2 teens inside were drinking and firing what looked like a gun out of the window. Within minutes, Waymo shared the car's location with police, then remotely pulled the vehicle over near 20th Avenue and El Camino Real. The company told the passengers the car was having mechanical problems, keeping them inside until officers were in position. Investigators later discovered the suspected gun was actually an Orbeez gel blaster, a toy that fires water-filled pellets. The passengers, 14 and 15 years old, were released to their parents. Waymo declined our request for an interview, but on its website, the company says its vehicles are equipped with interior cameras and microphones and may share information with law enforcement during emergencies or other situations permitted by law. That's the part some privacy experts say deserves a closer look.
So we talked recently about a woman in Western Canada who was filmed sleeping in her Tesla with 2 kids sleeping in the back seat as the thing was cruising down the highway. That led to conversations about autonomous vehicles. And I think it was you who talked about autonomous taxis.
That's
Maybe
right.
it was me, whoever. We had a conversation about that. But I never realized, I never thought about this. It's quite interesting that the company that owns these autonomous taxis, they have surveillance. They have cameras that look at what's going on in there, and they busted the kids. They pulled over the vehicle without, like, it's not like they went there and did it. They just made the vehicle pull over and probably through a speaker or something told the kids in the car, "We're having technical problems. We're going to fix this and get you up and running again soon." Meanwhile, the California cops showed up and did what they do.
Yeah. And in the news recording, it seemed like towards the end they were hinting at another issue of, privacy in terms of when you're in one of these vehicles, you're being videotaped, you're being recorded. And is that a privacy issue? Is that something to be concerned about? I don't think so. Like, if you're in a driverless vehicle like that, there has to be some way for them to be able to access the vehicle in some kind of an audio video format, because there's so many things that can happen in a vehicle inside.
Yeah, damaging property, or there's a car accident and there's like an injury or something. It's important to see all that stuff. And it's if you go in a mall or something and you're in a section that's not a store, you're being surveilled. You're being surveilled everywhere. Why not in an autonomous vehicle that someone else owns? That said, though, I think the technology and the whole idea of it, the concept of it, is new, so maybe people wouldn't have thought about it. I'm sure these kids who were drinking and shooting out the window never thought that someone was just watching them. And I bet you the people who review these cameras see a whole lot of crazy stuff going on in that car.
Yeah, I think it's okay to be recording people in the vehicles as long as you're clear when they're booking the ride that everybody is recorded when they're riding in it, because people could
like
be
a
having
small sign on the
a sign on the window, whatever. It has to be very clear, like not just a fine print thing. It's got to be at some point during the booking process or as soon as you get into the vehicle, a clear visible sign is right there indicating that you're being recorded, because as long as people know, everybody knows that when you get in, not to talk about anything sensitive or not to shoot gel guns at strangers. And
there was something else you started to say. I think I cut you off. You said people could be having
daily kisses.
Probably daily.
Daily kisses. Good callback. That's what I was thinking. The people who watch these cameras, if there is microphones and stuff, I hope they're like, "Whoa, sir and ma'am."
Whoa, sir and ma'am.
Sorry, I don't know if you read the booking.
Whoa, sir and ma'am.
I don't know if you read the booking, but we're watching. Please.
Yeah. You should book a sex car and not a Waymo.
We don't often go to the U.S. I think this was a good story to do it. This was, if it's an autonomous vehicle, teenagers, it only makes sense for us to go down there. The only thing this was missing was like a beaver on drugs or something.
Yeah, well, it's good to know that here in Canada, we're not the only country suffering from the puberty problem. It's running rampant in the United States as well.
Let's take our second and final break. When we come back, we got some of my favorite stories we've covered in a long time. This will be a what the F section after a short break. For those new to the show, the WTF segment is one we revisit often. That's where we dump the weird news stories that don't fit any specific theme. We have a duo of doozies tonight. Let's start in Montreal. A Montreal woman returned from a 10-day vacation and discovered unexpected roadwork on her street that had effectively created a large moat between her driveway and the street. If you thought the unexpected fireworks we talked about last week was bad, unexpected roadwork is hell.
Allison Aylward is in a bit of a pickle. After arriving home from a 10-day trip in Newfoundland, she discovered her driveway and walkway are totally cut off from the rest of Kensington Avenue in NDG.
Either I catapult or a zip line, possibly leap in an inelegant gazelle-like fashion.
It's part of a major construction project that recently got underway, and many residents say they were not notified in advance that their paths would be paralyzed.
A little preemptive notice would have been appreciated and could have avoided some of this.
There was a letter that was sent. We received it the day before everything started.
Multiple residents who did not want to appear on camera told Global News they only received a notice in their mailbox about the work 2 days after it had already begun. Aylward now worries that she won't be able to deliver food to needy families as part of her participation in NDG Caring Cooks.
I have 40 liters of gazpacho I'm in there trying to make.
I have a stroller. I have 2 kids. It's dangerous.
The city says it is widening sidewalks and redoing the road. And unfortunately, traffic disruptions, a lack of parking spaces, the presence of machinery, noise, and dust are unavoidable during this work. And before work begins, each contractor distributes a notice to affected residents. In the case of Kensington, a notice was distributed around July 1st.
With all respect to the city, all respect to the workers, and the work has to be done, we received no notice.
Aylward says she was told the work would continue until September. According to the city, crews will take a 2-week break for construction holiday, but driveways should be accessible by then.
This is small potatoes, but it's potatoes that must be dealt with.
I think the visual is important to that story. Do you want to explain to the good people out there what's actually happening with, her driveway? I described it in the build-up as a moat.
Yeah, it looks almost like a moat in front of her home. So her driveway and the front of her home, like all access to her home, is completely blocked by this construction. So it's all the ground is all dug out. They're replacing the sidewalk. So you know how deep they dig when they're replacing a sidewalk like that. So and the roadway too. They're changing the whole thing. So it looks like it's going to be fairly extensive construction outside of her home. She won't be able to get her car out.
Yeah, that's the big problem here. Is she went away to Newfoundland by the sounds of it, which is bad enough. And she comes back and her car is on the other side of this moat, so like locked in her driveway. For her to even get in her home, aside from the whole car and everything, is kind of going to be a difficult proposition. It's going to involve kind of leaping over that ditch, but her car is trapped in there until this work is done. Had she had gotten that notice, she could have made arrangements with a friend and left her car somewhere else and could have at least gotten around. But, that's putting a lot of faith on this notice system. And by the sounds of it from this story, it's all coming down to a he said, she said. They said we gave notices. She said I didn't get a notice.
Yeah.
Is one notice enough to you?
Well, it seems like, too, the notice giving was responsibility fell purely on the construction company that was doing the renovation. So it wasn't according to this story, it wasn't the city's responsibility. It was the responsibility of the construction company. So they said and some people did receive notices, and some people said they didn't. So you're right. It's he said, she said. And I'm still trying to figure out how her gazpacho plays into the whole thing.
What is gazpacho? Well, the way I don't know what gazpacho is, but the way it plays into it is it just turns out that this lady whose car's trapped is a volunteer for some organization that brings food to the needy. And it sounds like she has a whole lot of whatever Gestapo is.
Gazpacho.
Cooking. Yeah, what is that?
It's like a cold soup. It's like a cold soup. Oh. Yeah.
Nah.
I'm sure we're going to have some gazpacho experts who listen to this show that are going to completely flood our voicemails with actually it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And actually and I'm an expert on it.
If it's a cold soup, I'm not that interested in any corrections. For me, if the soup isn't piping hot and like kind of salty, I'm not that interested. I love soup, but very specific soups. Definitely hot soups. You know what? Like something I really enjoy is Italian wedding soup. It has like some noodles and meatballs. It's delicious.
It is.
And anything with barley, beef and barley, even just a vegetable soup. My God, I haven't had soup in a while.
It sounds like, you're really, really jonesing for some soup over there.
How about some wonton soup?
Sounds like any soup will do for you right now.
Do you got a favorite?
Soup?
Yeah.
Is a chowder? Do you consider chowder to be in the soup category? Because
certainly, I'm not a freak.
All right, great. Well, a corn chowder then would be my favorite.
I'm drinking a vanilla Coke from Thailand, which I don't know if they make ramen there, but I really like ramen. That's a soup. And pho.
Yeah, pho they call it.
They call it. Okay, yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of delicious soups out there, and if this lady
and there's a lot of ways to pronounce them
so
too.
Give us a break. Come on, we're not soup guys.
Gazpacho, pho.
But this poor lady, I guess it's a bad situation she's in, and the experience that I had that I can relate to this in some capacity is there was a lot of upgrading of the power lines and the electrical system in my area over the last year. And if power's ever going to be out for like a day or something, as a podcaster, that could become an issue for me. But luckily, Nova Scotia Power, which is the company that manages power in Nova Scotia, whenever there's going to be a power outage, I get so many calls from them in the lead up to it that it drives me crazy. Like they'll call me a month in advance. Then I get a letter, a few days after that. And then it seems like they're calling me like once a week. until the week that the power outage is happening, at which point I get daily calls and someone probably knocking at my door. And I've complained about it many times. Now hearing this story, I'm never going to complain about those advance notices again.
We see how they can come very much in handy, and this work was getting done whether they like it or not. And yeah, it sounds like the construction company probably could have done a better job with the noticing. And it's unfortunate that her car is stuck in there. In terms of all the other issues that she has, it looked to me that she can get through that pretty fine. She looks pretty agile.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't really have much time for the other complaints that people had, other than the fact that her car is stuck in there. So
yeah, that's an issue.
Maybe she can drive through her lawn and get, I'm sure she can. And now that I say that, you know what? I'm totally on the construction company's side and the city's side on this one. And you know what? This woman, I hope her gazpacho burns on the stove.
Oh, damn. Let's move on to our final story. And this one's a good one. This is a feel-good story, but it's a story that really plays into some of my interests, and I think some of yours as well. A Riverview, New Brunswick woman has created a curbside coffee mug exchange where neighbors can leave a mug or take a mug. And to the surprise of the curator, it's a smashing success. Here's the story of New Brunswick's public mug exchange.
Chances are there's a curbside library in your neighborhood. One of those take a book, share a book community trading spots. This Riverview woman has a similar idea, but she's swapping coffee mugs.
It has been unbelievable. I did not expect it to blow up the way it did. It's got a lot of attention, and people have been driving by and walking over, and lots of neighbors been talking about it.
Her husband put the coffee mug exchange up around a week ago. She guesses there's been more than 100 swaps since then.
My son wanted to give her a gift for Christmas, and he built this, and I was a skeptic. I said, this isn't going to work. People aren't going to be interested in this. We're going to have a bunch of mugs sitting in our front yard.
Kayla made a post on the community Facebook page last week welcoming Riverview's first little mug exchange. The reaction? Overwhelmingly positive.
It's fun to see the neighbors and get to chat with people and kind of get to hear some stories. Some people have been putting positive notes in their mugs.
I love the coffee mug exchange. I'm a big coffee drinker. I slow down every day just to have a quick peek. Today I stopped by, grabbed one on the way home, but I had to bring one back.
This is something that has taken root, and people have loved the idea. Something new and different.
My husband doesn't want me bringing them all into our house, so this is a good way to, I can still see the cool ones and not have our shelves full of them.
I love this story, and I'm sure you've seen those library things that people have that look like a big birdhouse, and you put some books in it, and people can come by and grab a book, take a book, leave a book, whatever. That's kind of cool, but this is great as well, and I think it solves a problem a lot of people have. I love a cool, funky mug. I'll be at Value Village or a thrift shop, and I often see a mug, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'd love to bring that home. But I don't have room for a million cool coffee mugs, and a lot of times they don't fit in my dishwasher good and stuff. So I pass on them. But this kind of situation, this kind of service makes that possible. You can have a new mug every day.
Yeah, I don't need a new mug every day. I'll be honest with you. I only own 4 mugs.
Oh, man. I have, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. I probably have 15 to 20. I have my main mugs, which are, the brand is like La Crusette. They're these like heavy stoneware kind of things. I really love the weight of these mugs. They're my main mugs. But then I have my Robin's Donuts mug that Robin sent me. I have 3 different Halloween mugs that I bought at Halloween shops. One is a clear skull, and I really like putting coffee in that, pouring the cream in and seeing the cream and the coffee mixed together within a clear skull. I have 3 different Hedwig from Harry Potter mugs. They're all different sizes. And I have several other mugs that I just, like, I love them, but I can't use them all the time, so they're really high up on the shelf. But yeah, anyway, it's I enjoy mugs, and like the special drink at the beginning of the show, just gives me something nice to have in my hand and keep my hand and a part of my mind busy as the conversation flows out of us throughout these episodes. An interesting mug in the morning just gives you a little extra joy in your brown cup of coffee or tea.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I see the good service that mugs do for people here in Canada and around the world. But and I do enjoy a nice mug too. I love my Robins mug.
Yeah.
And I love my mug that has a letter A on it.
You use that all the time. I could probably tell. You said you only have a few mugs. I could probably tell you what they were. But you go on.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have my Cat People mug.
Yeah.
And then I have one blank mug.
What color is it?
That's for guests. It's white.
Oh, really?
And it has a blue trim. And that's for guests. They get the blank mug, and I get the other three.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of dishes. I try to be very conservative with how many dishes I have. So I only have a few plates, a couple of bowls, a very small amount of silverware, and 4 mugs.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 4 wine glasses, though.
Okay. So it shows what you value and prioritize. Do you have a dishwasher?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. But can you even fill it?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, it fills.
Okay.
You know, when you put everything in there, it fills up perfectly. So I've got 1 dishwasher load worth of dishes.
That makes sense. And I don't think there's much good reason for anyone to have more than that. Something I want to celebrate about this story is I like these micro moments of keeping Canada weird. And that's something that this lady is doing. I think it's a creative idea. It's a bit of a service to the community, and it's weird and interesting. This is an example of the small things you can do to make the world around you a little more interesting. I tip my hat to her, just like I tip my hat to Brenda at the beginning of the episode, who grinded out 43 years at a McDonald's in Regina.
Mm-hmm. They should know you don't have a hat on. So I think it's important that the listeners and Brenda and this mug lady know that you're not wearing a hat. So you're not that sincere.
That's a good point. We've been through a lot tonight. We've celebrated a lot of people and a lot of strange stories. But what we didn't do, Handsome Aaron Airport, is celebrate the work you and I do. You want to take a moment for us?
You know what? I really do.
Do you have anything left in your drink?
I do.
Okay, let's have a cheers to keep Canada weird before I play this voicemail from someone named Caleb who says some nice stuff about us. Let's cheers to it.
Clink.
Hey guys, my name's Caleb. I'm a middle school teacher from Niagara Falls, Ontario. And this year I found that my class was having a real hard time connecting with news stories, current events in Canada. They didn't care about regular news stories. So I stumbled across your podcast and I started using some of the news stories from your podcast in my classroom. And instantly, my students were hooked. We were able to look at the news stories and then determine, where they were from, what was interesting about this area of Canada, and their knowledge of Canada grew quite a bit. Their favorite stories were the butter heist from Guelph, plus some follow-up stories that I found in the newspaper about that. Also, the Amelia Earhart statue, and anything to do with wild animals attacking civilians. They really loved that. But thank you so much for helping my class. And I hope there's a follow-up on the butter heist and the Amelia Earhart statue. Thanks, guys.
Wasn't that nice? That made me feel good when I heard that.
This could really be a way for us to link into the puberty problem. So now we might be able to solve it with maybe some hidden messages, subliminal messages that we can sneak in through the podcast. So if he's relaying, stories from the podcast to, puberty problem infected in his classroom, then we might somehow be able to reach them into their subconscious and divert their thoughts going towards crime and teasing and bullying and whatever else that they get up to when you're infected with puberty. But we could steer them in the right direction and maybe see if that works.
That's a lot of pressure on us, though. But it is a good opportunity. And then if we can get this show played in nursing homes.
nursing homes. Well, yeah, we'll start by getting it as required curriculum in middle schools.
Yeah.
And then in senior homes, there's only one radio that they all have to listen to, and it's always tuned in to Keep Canada Weird.
That's a great idea. I find it kind of funny, the idea, like it sounded like he's using it to get them in middle school, which I think is like grades 6, 7, and 8, maybe.
Yeah, or 7, 8, 9, depending on where you are, I guess.
Anyway, in Nova Scotia, we'd call that junior high, I think. But anyway, he's using this show as a way to get kids, to get his students interested in Canadian news, but also to learn about, the geography of the country. And I find that really funny because my geography ability and knowledge is honestly at an elementary school level. I'm surprised he's able to get through an episode.
Well, we're not giving ourselves enough credit. And we do. I mean, we've been told by listeners in the past that we were uneducated. And, we've always believed that, you and I, that our prior knowledge going into these stories is limited, even less than limited at times. So this is giving us fuel and is helping with our self-confidence that maybe we're smarter than we think we are.
I worry that the last thing we need is confidence.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right on that, actually.
I think we've been through a lot tonight, Handsome Aaron Airport. 223 times we've successfully done it. Undefeated in 223 episodes. I can't wait to see what Canada has in store for us next week. But let's put a bow on this. We've done enough. Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan Bus Stop, Backhoe, Chainsaw Bonaparte. Until next time.
One thing that surprised me in the McDonald's story, she went through all the different rewards she got on the different milestones. She got like a ring, a watch, a necklace. I'm surprised McDonald's has that kind of program to reward tenure. I'm surprised they hit 25 and 40-year milestones. That was cool.
It was cool. Again, I like McDonald's. I have no beef with McDonald's. But Jordan, until next time, I tell you one thing. If my Ken Tiggs ever goes missing and I go to the police, the first name that I'm going to give them is yours. Because I assume that you are holding Ken Tiggs for ransom for daily kisses.
Oh, probably daily.
Daily kisses. I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
I'm Pepper. I'm from Ancaster, Ontario, and I just wanted to say, daily kisses! Keep on keeping Canada weird. Bye!
And now to our viewers and listeners everywhere. Good night.
Hi, my name is Karina. I'm calling from Virginia. I was living in this apartment with a roommate, and my next door neighbor got scammed by this person in Nigeria claiming to be a prince. She, quote unquote, fell in love with him, broke up with her live-in boyfriend, but they stayed living together. And then I think she was sending her new Nigerian prince boyfriend money from the joint bank account that she had with her now ex-boyfriend. And I only know that because the ex-boyfriend would complain to my roommate about it. So she got scammed to the point that, like, she was sending him money regularly and then, like, sending money for his friends and family. And she was complaining to me about, you know, how rough it was for him and how, you know, her ex-boyfriend that she still lived with just couldn't understand why she kept sending him money. And me and my roommate were trying to tell her, like, girl, I don't know if that guy, if this is real, if he really loves you. My roommate and I, our lease was up before theirs. So when we moved out, they were still going through it. So I don't know the conclusion to that story, but I cannot imagine it ended well for that woman or her ex-boyfriend.